Okay, we all know that exercise is good for us, and we especially know that exercise is good for our bodies. But in this lesson, I'm going to teach you specifically what exercise does for your brain pattern. And I need to get out and get my exercise today. It's a gorgeous North Carolina day here in Chapel Hill, and I need these brain benefits because I've been making these videos all day, and it's going to be time soon to get my increased peak alpha back on. So let me tell you what exercise does for our brain. First of all, it does increase peak alpha frequency. So a peak alpha frequency is people who are the sharpest and the most calm and the most focused are people who have kind of the perfectly fast alpha peak frequency. And that peak frequency is different depending upon the area of the brain, what I was going to say originally, and depending upon your age across the whole lifespan. But we're going to say that peak frequency at about 28 years of age, which is when your brain finishes developing and unfortunately simultaneously begins degenerating, alpha peak frequency is about 10.5 hertz. So the closer you are to this peak frequency, the better your brain is operating. And what exercise is proven to do is when you go out for some vigorous exercise, and it doesn't even have to be very long, I'm going to show you in just a second, alpha peak frequency goes up. So like I just half joked, I've been sitting in this chair making videos all day. And what that has done for me is my brain is slowing down because I've been thinking all day and I've been sedentary. So when I go out for my daily run, I run just about every day. When I go out for my daily run, it brings my brain back into the best frequency to be calm and focused. So that is why you want to exercise. Simultaneously, it is cranking up production of the feel-good neurotransmitters, serotonin, and dopamine specifically. Norepinephrine is also listed on this chart. So what that's going to do is it's going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel sharp. It's going to help you attend. It's going to help you think better. It's going to help you feel motivated and stay motivated and to be alert. Who couldn't use that, right? And this graph shows students that when they went for a 20-minute walk, their brains were activated with these neurotransmitters. And basically these colors, this is lower activation, higher activation after getting out and moving. And that's why, especially in your workday, if you sit in a chair or if you work at a desk, you've probably heard me say, get up hourly and go for a little walk outside in nature. And I can't always do that. Most days I do try to do that to a certain extent, but I always get out in the middle of the day for my exercise. It's usually a run. And if I can't pull off a run because I can't change and do all of that, I always go for a walk. So it is better to exercise briefly to exhaustion than it is to complete leisurely exercise. So that's why a run, even though it doesn't totally exhaust my system, it's cranking my system up. A quick run is better than a long walk. So I've been a huge proponent of Jillian Michaels for a long time. You may love her or hate her, but she has 20-minute videos that basically move you through strength, cardio, and abs, and they're tough. So, you have to do 30 push-ups, where normally I would only do 15 or 20 push-ups. In between 20 and 30 is when I'm moving into exhaustion. That's what it means. When normally I would just let myself off the hook. I work out outside too, so I'll go for a run and then usually I'll do push-ups and sit-ups and things like that in my yard. But I always let myself off the hook, and I'm totally aware that I'm doing it. I let myself off the hook before it gets super hard. So when you're doing a video, so for a long time I've done Jillian Michaels videos and P90X videos. If you've ever done some of the P90X videos, they do not let you off the hook. They move your action through to exhaustion. And when you move through to exhaustion, that's when you're really going to have not only the body gains, but the brain gains too. And that can be different at all different levels. If you don't work out at all, exhaustion might be an easy concept early on. So at least 30 minutes of moderate to vigorous movement. It doesn't have to be all at once. You can do it in 15-minute blocks. You can do it in 10-minute blocks if you need to. On some days, actually today I've been doing this a little bit. Every time I get up, We went rock climbing. I used the rock climbing example in a different video. We went rock climbing the other day, and I said to my husband, okay, if I want to get better at rock climbing, what can I do? And he's like, you can do Mary Catherine's. You can look them up. They're basically where you lunge down and then you spring up 2 different legs. And then we have a pull-up bar. I haven't done any pull-ups today, but pull-ups and Mary Catherine's, that will help. So as I got up today out of my chair, I just did Mary Catherine's across my office so that I'm cranking some blood up and reactivating my brain in the middle of making these videos. But I was doing them 1 minute at a time. And I could feel them. I could definitely feel them. And I've done this in the past too, where I'll do 10 push-ups or 15 push-ups just in the middle of my work. So you can do that in smaller blocks too. But again, we want to try to make it really vigorous. A way that I use this with my children is that exercise has to be the incentive for their screen time. So they don't get their screen time unless they go outside and move their bodies. And they all know that. So they all just do it inherently on most days now. So, I'll see them outside and I know it's because they want to go on their screen time. And, my daughter will go for a run or my son will go play basketball or go for a bike ride. They'll move their bodies and then they get their screen time. And you can also use it as a screen time break, which is how I do it. I'm in front of a screen for work most of my life. So I use my outside time. That's why I work out in the yard. And honestly, I have a computer that I can bring out there and do the videos, which is what I should do, but I'm always rushing for time, peek into my brain, right? But I use it as my screen time breaks to get away from my computer. And individual activities are easy, and that's why I run. My husband and I belong to a gym we always belonged to a gym before we had all of our kids, and we would always go. We'd meet there, and that was part of our fun lifestyle, and hopefully we'll get back to that someday. But in the last 10 years, we had a gym membership, and I called to cancel it, and they're like, Ms. Leigh, why are you canceling your membership? And I said, just look at the last time I was there. It was like 7 years ago. I don't need that membership. But I had worked out the whole time. I had run the whole time. I play basketball in the yard myself. I love it. Basketball is great for your brain because it involves a lot of moving across midline. Midline's down the middle of your body. And I'll do very specific little basketball moves where I'm trying to integrate the 2 hemispheres of my brain and just wake it up when I'm out there. So I like to play basketball while I'm doing that. But the point is, I can go for a bike ride, I can go for a run, and I can play basketball in the yard anytime I want. I don't have to wait for classes. And actually, another true story is I've been dying to take a boxing class up at the boxing club near our office. And I signed up. I was on my way there, and then something happened. Literally, I was in my boxing outfit. I had my gloves and my new boxing backpack. True story, right? If you've heard me talk before, the thing that I do to avoid actually doing something is I prepare for it. So I got a boxing bag, I got my gloves, I got my wrist straps. Anyways, I never made it to the class, which just really disappointed me and frustrated me. And as you know, it's all about the small wins, and you're going to learn more about that. My husband bought me a punching dummy. He's like a punching bag that looks like a guy who's got an attitude. I like to call him the general because he looks like he's going to sport some attitude. And I've been going down into our workout area and punching the general almost every day now. I'm still dying to get to the class because it's a 45-minute class of boxing, which would be to exhaustion. But for now, at least I'm getting down and punching the general. So I set myself up for success there and not for failure. And I'm a work in progress too. I'm trying to get to that point. Another reason why just hitting a punching bag or going for a run, and I have a stand-up paddleboard also, so I'll go on the lake and I'm just paddling. And I know a lot of people who do kayaking or canoeing. What that does is it's called transient hypofrontality. It drops the frontal lobe out in terms of functioning. It gives it a break, it gives it a rest. So when I've been thinking all day, the run is perfect for me because I don't have to think about the moves like I would in a video. And another true story is I bought a whole series of Zumba videos because I wanted to learn and to use it as a thinking type of movement. But I think so much that I just can't add thinking into my workouts right now. And again, hopefully that's a hashtag goal for the future. But right now I need to drop my brain out, and I'm going to teach you about this flow state that is just an amazing state to get into. So when you drop this frontal lobe out and you shut it off for a little while, you get into the perfectly slow functioning mode that can help you tap into gamma waves for those epiphany thoughts. So maybe you've had the experience, and actually the shower is probably another example, not that you're moving, but usually it's in athleticism and in, being able to do a rehearsed movement that you don't have to think about, where your brain drops out. But, a lot of times I'll be on a run and I've just worked for the last 5 hours and I'll have this thought, but I'm not thinking. I'm actually dropping my brain out and not using it. And then a really awesome thought pops in. That's gamma popping in because I've dropped the frontal lobe out. You got to try it. It's awesome. And if you do it consistently, it's going to give your brain the break that it needs. And that is something that every brain pattern can benefit from. Okay, up next, eating and nutrition. We're going to talk specifically about how food and your gut affects your brain. So stay tuned. Follow me through to the next lesson because I can't wait to talk to you about it. Thanks.